What's up, you guys? Welcome back. And if you're new, this video is for you. So I get this all the time when I'm doing a live stream or when I'm talking about prison. You guys comment down below and you're like, well, what'd you go to prison for? And I've mentioned it sporadically, so like my OGs are gonna know. But if you're new to my channel, you don't know. So I thought I'd make a dedicated video for you guys so that we're all on the same page, so that you guys know why I went to prison. And the funny thing is, I was actually thinking back to the first time I got put inside of a cop car. You guys, I was 9 years old the first time I got arrested. Yeah. That happened. So the story behind that is I decided I was going to run away, technically, right? That's the term for it. But I met friends at school, which was a big deal for me because I didn't have any friends. I was the kid that was going to read a book in the corner. So I was like preparing for prison, basically. But I had no friends. And these girls said, hey, after you get off the bus, come to our house. Well, I spent like 3 hours looking for this girl's house, couldn't find it. I was 9. My mom called the cops, obviously, because her 9-year-old is missing, and the cops brought me back. But that was like my first encounter with law enforcement, which is crazy. And then from age like 12 to 13 and a half, I got kicked out of parties. I got brought home drunk, and my mom's boyfriend actually kind of covered for me a couple of times, and the cops would bring me home drunk, which was like kind of embarrassing, but also kind of cool that he wouldn't tell my mom. So mom, if you're watching, your boyfriend did that a lot. He also stole my weed. So, you know, that's the kind of teenager I was. I was out of control. I was crazy. I was drinking at parties, hanging out with older people. I would never hang out with someone my own age, ever. What's the point? They can't get me alcohol, and they probably don't have a good weed connect, right? So that was my mentality at a very young age. So moving forward, I got put on PINS probation when I moved in with my dad and my stepmom, who you're gonna meet later this week or next week. I moved in with my dad and my stepmom, and I got put on PINS because I couldn't stay in school. I was ditching school. My stepmom knew I was drinking, knew I was smoking weed, or she was kind of on to me. You're gonna hear that story later. But I was put on PINS, and then PINS probation led to youth probation, which I don't even remember why. I think maybe the PINS officer like couldn't keep up with me, and she realized I needed to actually go to the probation office with professionals, you know, but I'm not exactly sure if there was a charge there. I don't think so. I honestly think it was because I was so out of control. And then youth probation led to felony adult probation because my first real charge was criminal possession of a controlled substance, criminal sales of a controlled substance. I sold pills to a kid that I went to school with. He overdosed, he survived, and then ended up getting a restraining order on me because I may have threatened his life for snitching. So that's the kind of teenager I was. I was crazy, I was out of control. And that probation sentence, that felony probation sentence, led to many violations, which is originally why I went to jail. So I had violation after violation after violation. I couldn't pass drug tests. I couldn't stay where I was supposed to be. I absconded, did tons of things, had assault in there. So there was a lot of issues, especially when I got kicked out of my parents' house, at 18. Now there's no one like watching me. Not that anyone really could keep track of me anyway, but I didn't have a reason to come home at night or follow curfew or follow all the rules that probation wants you to do, right? Because I'm on my own. So that led to a lot of problems for me. I've also beaten many charges. Beaten? Yeah, that's the right word, right? So I've successfully beaten several charges, possession charges. I beat an assault charge, and I beat conspiracy to commit armed robbery, false written statement, false police report, and grand larceny. I beat those felonies, which is a whole nother story, which I think I told in an earlier video. That's really embarrassing, so don't go watch it. But yeah, so my last prison sentence was for delivery of meth. I had a lot of delivery charges, and then it was possession of meth over 2 ounces, and then it was simultaneous possession of drugs and a firearm. So yeah, in New York, I was used to how New York sentences you. So New York will be 1 1/3 to 3 years. 2 to 5, 5 to 7, and it just kind of goes up from there. In Arkansas, I swear they spin the wheel of fortune and they're like, boom, 30 years. It's crazy. So I had all these people telling me, oh, you could do 1/3 of your time, but you have a gun charge. You're gonna do half of your time. And it was just crazy how everyone told me I would do different sentences, right? And I would see people with similar charges get tons of time on their first deal. So I had to sit in county jail for over 6 months fighting my case. I refused to sign a deal that was for 20 years, which was my original plea agreement, and then 10 years. They came back at me with 10. Then they finally said 5 years. I did 2 and change. So that was just a really difficult thing for me. I also, when I got arrested this last time, was pregnant. So emotionally, I wasn't doing very well. So if you guys haven't seen my earlier videos, because you're brand new to my channel, I gave birth to my first child in prison. She went to DHS and I successfully have custody of her. I did get her back, but that struggle was so difficult, and that is the reason I got my life together. That is why I'm sober. I had my little girl and I decided to completely change my life. So I'm sitting here right now against all odds. I have overdosed. I have been to prison. I've overcome an amazingly strong addiction. I'm still alive. I've overcome having my daughter in prison. I overcame that and I'm living a great life. So my story here hopefully will resonate with you guys to stay out of the streets, because it's just not worth it. And if you're going through something, add "for now" at the end of that sentence. So for example, I am really tired right now. Don't be so permanent with your problems, you guys, because nothing is forever. So I understand that it's so hard to get your life together when you're starting from rock bottom. It can seem like you have to dig your way out. It can seem like a mountain, but I'm here to tell you I'm living proof. No mistake is too great to not recover and bounce back. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.